The story begins with a high-speed train rushing across the landscape. Inside this intense setup, Henry Brogan, an elite sniper working for a defense agency, prepares for another mission. He is assigned to eliminate a man believed to be a dangerous bioterrorist. A field agent named Marino is already on the train, closely monitoring the target and relaying precise updates to Henry. Far away, Henry positions himself on a mountain, maintaining a perfect line of sight. He sets up his rifle with calm focus, calculating distance, wind, and timing. Everything is under control, and the moment to pull the trigger arrives. However, just as he is about to fire, a small girl unexpectedly moves near the target. Marino immediately intervenes and halts the shot, preventing a fatal mistake.
Wait. Civilian in play repeats. Clear.
Confirm.
After a tense pause, the girl eventually leaves, and Marino then confirms that the path is clear again. Henry regains his focus, steadies his breathing, and finally takes the shot. The bullet travels at extreme speed, piercing through the glass of the moving train and striking the target directly in the neck. Later, Marino shows Henry a recording of the mission. He explains that several highly trained snipers had previously failed to complete this assignment.
4 shooters whiffed on this guy before he got the call. See or fail?
Delete it.
I'll delete it.
But Henry succeeds alone with unmatched precision. Despite this success, Henry does not celebrate. Instead, he quietly burns the photograph of the target, signaling the end of another mission. He now begins to think about leaving this life behind. Soon after, Henry tries to settle into a peaceful routine. However, his thoughts remain troubled. His senior Dell visits him, and during their time together, Henry reflects deeply on the mission. He intended to aim for the head, but the bullet hit the neck instead. He admits internally that such an error could have led to disaster, especially with a beautiful child nearby.
Are you really retiring?
Yes, sir. There was a kid, 6 inches off. She's dead.
This realization pushes him closer to retirement. Determined to leave everything behind, Henry plans his escape. He heads to a dock to rent a boat. There, he meets Danny, a young and confident boat rental manager. During this moment, a small detail stands out when Henry casually kills a mosquito due to his allergy, showing his sharp reflexes even in ordinary situations. Danny shares some personal information about her life. She is preparing for admission to the University of Georgia, aiming to study marine biology. Henry listens but remains cautious. He subtly warns her about the dangers around the area, hinting at the kind of world he comes from. Henry then leaves by boat and travels to meet his old friend Jack. Things quickly take a darker turn as Henry learns a shocking truth. Jack shows him a photo of the same man Henry eliminated. Henry confirms the kill, still believing it was justified. However, Jack reveals the truth he has learned through his contact Yuri. The man he killed is not a terrorist, but a molecular biologist named Valery Dormov, who has spent decades working in his field. The entire mission is based on false intelligence.
Recognize him?
Ray Dormov, terrorist.
No, a biologist who worked here.
This revelation shakes Henry completely. He understands that he has taken an innocent life. This confirmation deepens Henry's guilt and raises serious concerns about who manipulated the assignment. At the same time, the Defense Intelligence Agency tracks Henry's movements using advanced satellite systems. They quickly identify him as the person responsible for the killing. Instead of protecting him, the agency decides to eliminate him, turning him into a target. As Henry returns from meeting Jack, he discovers a hidden sensor device planted on his boat. This immediately raises suspicion, and he realizes that someone has been tracking him closely. Acting on instinct, he confronts Danny, believing she might be involved. However, Danny appears genuinely confused and unaware of any such setup, making the situation even more uncertain. Henry does not fully trust her, but does not act violently either.
Are you DIA? No, I want to see your place.
I have to do my job. Sorry, sir.
Before leaving, he instructs her to meet him later at a restaurant, wanting to understand the truth. Later that evening, they meet again. Henry arrives prepared and already has information about Danny's background. Eventually, she admits her connection to an agency. She reveals that her father once served in the FBI and lost his life during a bank robbery. This personal loss adds depth to her character. Henry realizes that Danny has been assigned to monitor him. The agency sees him as a liability. During this meeting, Danny becomes curious about Henry's sudden desire to retire. In response, Henry reflects on his inner conflict. He feels disconnected from himself and struggles to face his own actions. This emotional weight is clearly visible in his behavior. After this intense exchange, they quietly go their separate ways. Meanwhile, Jack's wife stands outside, enjoying the calm atmosphere and looking at the stars, while Jack remains inside. Suddenly, the silence is shattered by a gunshot. Jack reacts instantly and rushes outside, but his wife is gone. Within moments, he is ambushed. Two attackers strike swiftly and brutally. Both Jack and his wife are killed, and their bodies are thrown into the water, erasing all evidence. At the same time, Henry experiences a disturbing nightmare. He wakes up suddenly, triggered by an emergency alert on his phone. As he steps outside, he notices multiple Defense Intelligence agents surrounding his house. He escapes into a hidden basement safe room built for emergencies. From there, he contacts Marino and urgently advises him to disappear, avoid known locations, use only cash, and stay completely off the grid. However, Marino fails to act in time. The agency tracks him down and eliminates him.
Go home. Do not go to your girl's house. Ticket in cash. Do not use an ATM card. Come on, Henry, man, stop.
Back at Henry's house, heavily armed agents move in and a deadly confrontation begins. Henry uses his exceptional skills to fight back. He takes down multiple attackers with precision and manages to escape the siege alive. Henry immediately heads to Danny's location. He confronts her again, trying to determine if she had any prior knowledge of the attack. Danny appears shocked and genuinely unaware of the situation. She insists through her actions that she would have warned him if she knew anything. Henry quickly realizes that time is running out and urges Danny to get a duplicate key for the boat so they can escape immediately. Danny rushes toward the office to retrieve it, but before she can reach safety, an attacker suddenly ambushes her. The situation turns violent within seconds. A fierce struggle begins inside the confined space, with both fighting desperately. Danny manages to hold her ground. Using her instincts and determination, she eventually overpowers the attacker and kills him. Moments later, Danny rejoins Henry, and without wasting time, they escape together on the boat. During this journey, Henry begins to accept a painful reality. After serving his government with complete loyalty for 25 years, he is now being hunted by the same system he once trusted. This realization weighs heavily on him, as he understands that his decision to retire has turned him into a liability. Looking for a place to hide, Henry reaches out to an old and trusted friend named Baron. Baron agrees to help and offers Henry a safe house, an old property that is difficult to track. To ensure secrecy, Baron transports Henry by airplane. Once they arrive, the place appears isolated and secure, giving them a brief sense of relief. After settling in, Henry decides to contact Dell, hoping to understand who is behind the sudden betrayal. Through this conversation, Henry learns that powerful individuals within the agency, Clay and Janet, are controlling the situation. Dell admits that he no longer has authority over their actions and cannot interfere.
It wasn't me. None of this was me, Henry, I swear it.
What the hell is all of this?
He also reveals the existence of a classified program known as Gemini, which appears to be at the center of everything. Henry begins connecting the events and suspects that the man he killed might have been linked to this Gemini project. Dell confirms that the target had indeed worked for the program in the past. Henry realizes that he was manipulated into killing an innocent man once again. Dell attempts to justify the situation and takes partial responsibility, but his words do little to ease Henry's frustration. Later, as Henry tries to rest, his instincts alert him to danger. Upon closer observation, he identifies a sniper positioned above the house. Understanding the threat, Henry immediately prepares to move. He packs his essentials, grabs his weapon, and rushes to warn Danny and Baron. He urges them to relocate to a safer area while he attempts to slip away unnoticed. However, the moment he steps out, the sniper opens fire. A tense gunfight begins, with bullets cutting through the air. Henry tries to locate the attacker and return fire, but the sniper proves to be exceptionally skilled. Each shot is precise and calculated, making it difficult for Henry to gain an advantage. As Henry lines up a counterattack, he catches a glimpse of the sniper and freezes for a moment. The attacker looks exactly like him, only younger. Shocked but forced to act, Henry retreats into a nearby building, trying to avoid direct confrontation. The young attacker continues the pursuit relentlessly. Every attempt to escape or de-escalate fails as the attacker keeps pressing forward. Henry manages to break away and reaches a motorcycle, using it to create distance. A high-speed chase begins, and both riders maneuver aggressively while exchanging gunfire on the move. The chase soon turns into a brutal close-range fight. Henry is knocked off the motorcycle, and the attacker closes in. A physical struggle begins, with both demonstrating incredible strength and combat skills. The young attacker attempts to crush Henry using the motorcycle, and later attacks with a knife, pushing Henry to his limits. Before the fight reaches its end, police sirens echo through the area. Law enforcement arrives, interrupting the confrontation. Henry is arrested on the spot, while the mysterious attacker disappears without leaving any trace behind. The situation becomes even more complicated as Henry finds himself in custody. Shortly after, Danny uses her agency connections to secure Henry's release. She understands that they are running out of time and need answers quickly. Together, they decide to travel to meet Yuri, a trusted contact of Jack who holds critical information about the situation. They arrange a private airplane and leave immediately, avoiding any official channels. Meanwhile, Clay gives clear instructions to the young attacker, ordering him to go after Henry as well. His objective remains unchanged, eliminating Henry at any cost.
Put his back against the wall and you don't let him go.
Who is he?
During their journey, Danny collects a DNA sample from Henry and compares it with the DNA collected from the attacker. The results reveal the attacker is not just similar to Henry, he is an exact genetic clone. This discovery confirms that Henry is facing a younger version of himself. Danny shares this information with Henry, making him realize the full extent of the Gemini project.
Your DNA and his. As in the same person. He's your clone.
When they arrive to meet Yuri, they begin searching for answers. Yuri reveals the hidden truth behind everything. Clay had taken the scientist by force and used Henry's DNA to create the clone. The young version of Henry was raised and trained as a weapon, shaped into a perfect assassin under Clay's control. Henry also learns that the scientist he eliminated wanted to escape. So, Clay planned to eliminate him, but Henry unknowingly completed that mission first. Yuri further explains that Clay's ambitions go far beyond creating a single clone. He is attempting to manipulate DNA on a dangerous level, pushing the boundaries of science in a way that threatens humanity. Instead of destroying everything blindly, Yuri explains they need Henry himself to stop Clay.
You are the best at what you do. And there is his playing God with DNA.
That's why I send a missile.
You are the missile.
Determined to end this, Henry takes control of the situation. He sends a direct message to Janet, the head of the agency, using his knowledge about her to apply pressure. As a result, Janet agrees to arrange a meeting between Henry and his clone. At the chosen location, Danny arrives first and waits carefully, staying alert. The young clone appears and signals her to come forward. He begins checking her thoroughly for any weapons or hidden devices. After completing the search, Danny secretly activates communication with Henry, keeping the connection open. The clone then instructs Henry to enter a chamber prepared for the meeting. Danny secretly helps Henry by using a hidden microphone, feeding him information while pretending to stay helpless. The clone ties her hands and steps away after hearing a suspicious noise, believing danger is nearby. That small distraction gives Henry the opening he needs, and he suddenly attacks. When they stand face to face, Henry freezes for a moment, stunned by the sight of his own reflection in another man. The clone, though shaken, remains aggressive and ready to fight. Henry tries to calm him and carefully reveals the truth, explaining that he is not just a stranger, but a clone created from Henry's DNA and raised under lies. The clone refuses to accept this and assumes Henry is trying to manipulate him. Henry then opens up about his past, exposing his own flaws and emotional struggles, hoping to build some connection. Instead of understanding, the clone reacts with anger, and the tension explodes into another brutal fight. The clone proves stronger, faster, and more precise, slowly overpowering Henry in every move. Henry struggles to keep up and starts losing control of the situation. At the most critical moment, Danny intervenes and fires a shot, forcing the clone to step back. Surprisingly, the clone chooses not to finish Henry and leaves the scene. Henry is left badly injured and barely able to move. Realizing he cannot continue like this, he decides to return to Georgia to recover. Danny stays by his side, and together they travel back by plane. Meanwhile, Clay grows impatient and begins questioning the clone known as Junior about why the mission is still incomplete. Junior starts thinking deeply about his own existence, wondering why he was chosen when many others could do the same job. Clay takes advantage of this confusion and manipulates him emotionally, making him feel special and superior to Henry.
Shooters in the world, why would you send me? You have something that Henry himself never had. Precious, and that you matter.
Later, Junior tests Henry by using bee venom to temporarily paralyze him. Henry struggles to breathe and becomes completely vulnerable, while Junior closely observes his reactions. After watching long enough, Junior gives him the antidote, allowing him to recover. This moment quietly changes something inside Junior, as doubt and guilt begin to grow. At the same time, Baron becomes suspicious about how easily they are being tracked. Junior investigates and discovers a tracking device inside Henry's body, something implanted years ago without his knowledge. This revelation confirms that Clay has been controlling everything from the beginning. Now understanding the truth, Henry and Junior begin to trust each other and decide to work together against Clay. However, Clay refuses to lose control. He contacts Junior again and tries to pull him back with emotional pressure, pretending to care. Before anything can be resolved, their vehicle suddenly becomes a target. A missile strikes without warning, destroying everything around them. The explosion kills Baron instantly, while Henry and Junior barely survive. This attack proves that Clay is willing to eliminate anyone, even his own creations. The survivors escape and hide in a nearby shop. Junior now fully realizes how dangerous Clay has become and tries to stop him. Instead of listening, Clay turns against Junior and attacks him as well. At the same time, Henry and Danny face multiple shooters, fighting together with careful coordination. They manage to take down several enemies, but the situation quickly becomes overwhelming. During the chaos, Danny gets shot in the leg, making it hard for her to move. Henry helps her retreat into cover, but they soon realize they have no ammunition left. The danger increases as they are left defenseless. Just when everything seems lost, Junior arrives to support them and reveals that Clay is still alive.
Still alive? Yes.
Clay then sends another enhanced fighter to finish the job. This new attacker appears suddenly and launches a powerful assault. Henry and Junior fire at him repeatedly, but the bullets have almost no effect. Danny even uses an explosive, yet the attacker survives and keeps advancing. The fight turns desperate as the attacker pushes forward without fear. Finally, Junior moves in close and fires multiple shots directly at him. This time, the attacker collapses. When they remove his mask, they are shocked to see that he looks exactly like Henry again. It proves that Clay has created more than just one replacement. Moments later, Clay arrives in person and explains his vision, believing that creating perfect clones like Henry can make the country stronger. Henry completely disagrees and sees the clones as human beings who deserve real lives. Junior finally refuses to see him as a father anymore. He attempts to act against him, but Henry steps in and takes control of the situation. Understanding that Clay will never stop, Henry makes the final move and ends his life, putting a stop to his dangerous plans. After everything settles, Dell meets Henry and confirms that the Gemini project is officially shut down. He expresses regret and acknowledges Henry's decision to step away from this life. Henry chooses peace and moves on.
We can't be friends anymore.
The Gemini lab's been dismantled. I'm really sorry, Henry.
Take care, Dell.
After that, he reconnects with Danny, who now focuses on her college life and future. Junior also begins a new life, learning how to live normally and building connections with others in college. Henry meets Junior, and their reunion carries deep emotion, showing how much has changed between them. To give Junior a real chance at life, Henry arranges official documents for him, including a passport, a driving license, and a birth certificate. Junior receives a new name, Jackson Brogan, after Henry's mother's surname, marking the beginning of a new identity and a fresh start of life.